Hello, friends. Welcome back to another writing session with me, Rachel Berg Scherer of Midwest Writing and Editing. I'm so excited for our topic today. Over in our Writing Support for Creatives Facebook group, people have been asking for help with fiction. So that is the world that we're going to delve into today, and I'm so excited. We're going to do a few of these videos with fiction, but we're going to start with character writing. When I read a novel that I really enjoy, I find that it has round, full, rich characters. So that's where we're going to start. And we're going to do that with the use of pictures, or at least one very specific picture. And I really think you're going to have some fun with this exercise. We're going to explore our characters' physical traits, their childhood and early life, their thoughts and concerns, and their important relationships. Even if you find that you don't use all these details in whatever you ultimately write, it is so important to get to know our characters as full, rich, complex human beings, because then no matter what situation we put them in, it will feel authentic to our readers. So this is the picture, the painting that we're going to use to create our characters today. You're probably going to have to pause the video and come back to this, or maybe Google Watson and the Shark in another window and have it open while we're doing this exercise, because I'm going to sort of zoom in on this painting in future slides, but this is the only one where you're going to see the painting as a whole. So this is Watson and the Shark. It's by John Singleton Copley, and it's currently hanging in the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. What I want you to do for what we're going to create together today is to choose one of the characters in this painting, and then we're going to build that character up in our imagination. So the character can obviously be any one of the people on the boat, or poor Watson in the water. The shark could be your character. That second shark lingering in the background could be your character. I'm looking at boats in the background. People on those boats can be a character. Someone in that city way in the background can be a character. If this kind of exercise is new to you, I would probably choose one of the people on the boat or Watson in the water. But you can come through and do this exercise many times. You can explore it from different angles. However you want to do it, this is completely up to you. So no matter who you chose, maybe it was one of the people reaching, maybe it was that guy sort of looking out of his side eye, maybe it was poor Watson in the water. I want you to think about your character's physical traits and describe them in great detail. I want you to think beyond what you can actually see here, especially with poor Watson, and describe the character's entire physical self. If the legs are not seen in this painting, then describe the person's legs, their feet, their hands. Describe their fingernails, describe what the corners of their eyes are like, okay? You cannot have too much detail when it comes to your character's physical traits. Think way beyond what is seen in this painting. And then I want you to think about what your character likes about the way they look. When they look in the mirror, what makes them happy? And what would they change? What do they not like at all about their physical appearance? And then I want you to write about what other people do when they see your character. How do other people respond to your character's looks? Is your character generally considered very attractive? Not so much. And then really get into the why. And now we're moving away from what your character looks like physically and thinking about what has made your character who they are now. Now, depending on the type of work that you're creating, it's very likely that this will never see a novel or a story or anything like that. But if you want to have a full, rich character, you have to think about how the character has developed and why they are the way they are. So think about where your character grew up, when your character grew up. I also wanted to point out, this is another example of like hidden characters. If you look on the ship, you can see like two people climbing up the netting on the side, and they're maybe trying to get a better view of what's going on with that poor guy in the water and the shark. So especially if you go back and do this a second or third time, those would be kind of fun characters to explore. So Okay, I wanted to be sure that we didn't skip anything. Okay, so where did your character grow up, and when did your character grow up? And then while your character was growing up, what were your character's parents like? Was home a safe place that your character was eager to come back to, or was home a stressful place that made your character grow up way too fast, or have worries and concerns from a young age? What was home like? As your character was growing up, what restrictions were placed on the character because of what class they were perhaps born into, or what profession they were destined to have? Were their parents really strict? Was their school really strict? Was their community one that was very judgmental? What types of restrictions, limitations, what sort of held your character back growing up? And think about what your character wanted to be when they grew up, or just any number of dreams that your character may have had as a child. And now, does your character as an adult or as an older character have any unfulfilled dreams? Is there anything that your character still hopes that they could go back and do? And think about now your character's thoughts. This is where our characters' motivations will come from, where they take a particular action based on their thoughts, based on their concerns. So in this exact moment, maybe go back and look at the full painting. In this exact moment, what is your character thinking right now? What is Watson thinking as the shark approaches? What is that man with the spear or the man next to him thinking as the shark approaches? What is this person, your character, thinking right now? What was your character thinking about 5 minutes ago? Maybe your character was thinking, oh, there might be sharks over there. Perhaps we should swim the other direction. Perhaps we should sail the other direction. What was your character thinking about 2 hours ago when this boat left shore? What was your character thinking about yesterday when getting the group ready to go out on the boat? Or walking through that little town back there? What was your character thinking about last week, last month? What goes through your character's mind? And then we kind of start to think about the other relationships, right? So what or who does your character love the most? And what or who does your character fear the most? And these can both be people, but they should also be bigger ideas. Does your character love the idea of freedom the most? Does your character love his job more than anything else? What does your character fear most? Does your character fear failure? Does your character fear another person? Does your character fear maybe retribution, or retribution for something that they've done wrong? Does your character have a secret that they're holding that gives them constant fear and makes them always be looking over their shoulder? Just think about not just people with the love and the fear, but bigger ideas that ultimately will be bigger motivations for your character. And also think about the important relationships, sort of stemming off of our last idea a little bit. Who is most important to your character? This might not be the person they love the most, okay? Those are two different ideas, but who is most important? Who has the most influence over the character? Why is this the most important relationship for your character? Has the relationship grown? Has it changed? Or is it a new relationship? Is it going to present conflict in the future? Think about who was most important to your character when they were young. How has that character changed? How has that relationship changed? How is the relationship different now than it was when your character was young? And who does your character have the most conflict with? Who does your character have the most conflict with right now in this particular moment with the shark in the water? And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the shark. Your character might be one of these three folks sitting on the side of the boat, and they're in serious conflict with each other. And that might be the greatest conflict going on with that character right now. But in general, too, who does your character have the most conflict with? Where does the tension arise in your character's life? And with those 4 pieces, I want you to put all those puzzle pieces together and create an incredibly detailed description of your character. And remember that this is not necessarily something that's going to end up in a final product. It could, and it very well might, but this is really you getting to know your character so that you can create this full, rich, believable person that almost becomes like another living, breathing person to you. Get started with this piece of the fiction writing puzzle and stay tuned because we are going to have more videos on other elements of fiction. And in the meantime, I want to hear where your story is going if you're writing one. I want to hear where your character is headed, if you've created a full, rich character. And most importantly, please reach out if you're at all stuck and you can't figure out one motivation or one aspect of your character. You can find me at Midwest Writing at all those places listed down there, especially in our Midwest Writing and Editing Facebook group, Writing Support for Creatives. That and Instagram is where I tend to hang out the most, so please come find me and let me know how it's going. And of course, there's always more where that writing help came from. Over at midwestwriting.com, you'll find guides and ebooks, tips and tricks, groups and courses, information on upcoming events, tutorials, everything you absolutely need to write your very best. In the meantime, I can't wait for our next fiction video. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. But in the meantime, enjoy your writing. Come check in. Let me know how it's going. See you soon. Bye.